Hi, my name's Raindell, and today's video is about comparing the Leviathan card to its MR counterpart, the Behemoth card, and comparing the stats that they give, both to units that don't have any affinity with Leviathan, so units that are not sword users, and light or water type sword users specifically, and then what stats it gives to those units that fully benefit from the card, to tell whether this difference is actually worth the couple thousand vision ores that it would take to get Leviathan and max him, or maybe you're better off saving since it won't have that big of an impact for your team. So let's get into it. For units that don't get the extra benefit from Leviathan, so any kind of unit that does not use sword, that's going to be the difference, what we see on screen. So if you're using Leviathan instead of Behemoth, you're losing out slightly on HP. Now 32 is not a major difference at all. I don't foresee it ever making the difference between victory and defeat. 31 points of attack, however, does have some sort of an impact, but we live in a world where units usually, like attackers, get over 1000 points of attack when they're really built for damage, so a difference of 30 is not make or break by any means. The difference in magic we don't really care about because the unit using the Leviathan card is going to be a physical damage unit. And then the difference in defense is actually a very, very good pro for Leviathan. There are not that many ways to stack defense in War of the Vision, and when you are starting to have a high amount, every extra point of defense is actually marginally better than the previous one, and it can really go a long way having a couple of extra points. So that's a good pro in favor of Leviathan. And then there is a difference in 5% in the pierce resist that both those cards provides. So yeah, Leviathan gives a bit more, it's nice, but is 5% pierce resist really going to be the difference between your unit surviving and dying to a piercing attack? In most cases, no, right? When you get hit for 6000 damage, or 4000 damage, I mean, it's probably not the 5% that's going to make the difference. So if we're talking about units that don't benefit from the percentage increases that Leviathan provides, I would say the card definitely does not live up to its cost, in my opinion. Now, let's look at these units and see what they actually get from the card. So, I brought 3 units. I figure that that's going to be enough for you to figure out how the other units would benefit from it as well. So I have brought up the stats that Cecil and Thancred would gain at 99 with all jobs maxed, and then the bonus that Titus at level 120 with the future EX job update is going to have, since he's released at the same time as the EX jobs. Now, the way stats are calculated when its percentage increases in War of the Vision is that the stats are going to be added to the base stat of the unit, so whatever stat it gains from its levels and its job levels, and then what it gains from the board, but not percentage increases from the board. So if you have an attack 20% up on your board, that is added separately, and it is not multiplied by attack up from a vision card, for example. The flat bonuses that master abilities give, such as Thancred's extra 100 points of attack, is also not multiplied by the Leviathan card, for example. So you have to be wary, it's only the base stats that is going to benefit from it. So what does 10% mean? Well, for units like Cecil and Thancred, as you can see, it's in the 20s in terms of attack. 20 attack is good, sure, not game-breaking, once again, but if you add that to the 31 that you were already getting over Behemoth by using the Leviathan card, you're starting to have a decent amount. As you can tell, with level 120 units, since their base stats are higher, naturally they benefit more from it, and 36 points of attack is starting to be a decent amount, if you look at what Titus gets. In terms of HP, we're around the 300 mark. 300 HP is not bad by any means, but generally, with your vision card, your Esper, the unit, the equipment, these are units that are going to have around 4000 HP. So yes, it is nice to have a couple hundred extra. It might make the difference between taking one more hit or not, but it's not super great. We're not talking 1000 extra HP, right? The 10% slash attack is also nice. The way slash attack works in War of the Vision is it is added additively to the modifier of any move that you use, whether as long as it's a slashing move, of course. What this means, if, for example, your unit has 1000 points of attack, and you are hitting a target with 10% extra slash attack, well, instead of hitting for... basically, your attack is going to do 10% more from the 10% slash attack, which means it's going to hit for 100 more, which is 1/10 of your attack. And then that 100 extra damage is going to be reduced by defense and other types of resistances that your opponent has. So basically, small increase to damage, but multiplied by your attack score, so it can actually go a long way. That's why people want to craft +5 of weapons and try to get all that slash attack up and other types of damage up. The other stat that you actually lose by going for the Leviathan card is agility. The Behemoth card provides a couple points of agility. Now, 2 points of agility is not game-changing by any means, so I would not view this as a major con, but it is a small thing that you lose by going for the Leviathan card. So if you add those extra stats to the original stat difference between the two cards, this is what we get. So a unit that is a sword user with light or water element will actually gain quite a bit of extra stats from Leviathan. As you can tell, around 250, 275 extra HP, which is nice. Around 60 points of attack, which is really nice. At 60, it's starting to have a pretty good impact on how much damage you're going to do in a match. The difference in slash attack is fun, it's nice to have. Difference in pierce resist, I don't think is that impactful if you're comparing both cards. Like 15% is already pretty good from Behemoth. Of course, 20% is better, but not game-changing. Then you lose a couple points of agility, gain a couple points of defense, which I really like, and lose points of magic that you don't really care about. So my feeling is if you're going to center your account around those types of units, you want to use Titus to the fullest, or you're currently building Tancred, you really like him, you want to use him a lot, or you've invested in Cecil and he's really one of your favorites, then Leviathan definitely makes those units a lot stronger. But if we're talking any unit that does not get those sword affinity bonuses, the difference isn't great. As we noticed, you're getting 30 extra points of attack and 4 points of defense, that's pretty much it. So depending on the direction you want to take your account, up to you whether it's worth it or not. Now, there is one more thing that comes with the Leviathan card, aside from the Esper, obviously, which I'm not talking about in this video, and that's the Crash Edge ability. This is a slashing attack that can be cast twice and with a 30 AP cost. Now, just looking at the AP cost, I want to say this ability is probably not going to see much play unless you're running bells on the unit that has Leviathan, because it's pretty hefty cost. Then it has a rather short range as well, so I don't expect this ability to be the difference between wanting to use the Leviathan card or not. Sure, 195% multiplier is not bad, then if it increases as you lose HP, it can actually do a lot of damage. I 100% agree with that, but your sword users probably already have some pretty powerful moves that might have status effect or other advantages, so having this will be a nice thing to add, but you probably won't be using the Leviathan card just for this ability. It's too short range, too costly. I don't believe it's going to see much play, even with the card on. So that's what I had to talk about today. I felt like it was an interesting comparison between the MR equivalent of the Leviathan card and then the UR version. Obviously, Leviathan is stronger in most scenarios than the Behemoth card, but it's still very interesting to see whether the margin that you gain by having the new card is worth investing in it while you have the Behemoth card that most players are going to build naturally just by doing some pulls because it's MR and it comes up rather often. So is it worth investing in a newer card just for that margin? Your call. Once again, I'm not here to give a verdict, just give you the information. So thank you very much for watching. Please let me know if there's any other kind of content that you'd like me to create, and see you in the next video. Thank you for your time and have a great rest of your day.